What if Deku was a demon? Part 1. Now, before I do get into this video, I'd like to give a shout out to my Roblox channel, link in the description. I'll be making Roblox videos on that, so if you like it, go subscribe. I'd like to thank the thumbnail artist. He keeps changing his name, so I don't know, but I'd like to thank the editor, Duplicity, and now let's get into this what if. Izuku would be born as a child with horns and wings. From a young age, his mother just thought he had some type of pretty powerful quirk, and that he will grow to become a great hero. However, at the age of 4, when he would go to the quirk doctor's office, something very bizarre and strange would happen. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Your son, he doesn't have a quirk," the quirk doctor would say, to which Inko's eyes would widen. "But how, doctor? He clearly has one. Look at his back and his head. There's wings and horns. There's no way he doesn't have a quirk. Please run a test again." "Ma'am, we've run 5 tests already. We saw how bizarre this case was. We just don't have an explanation." "Then what is my son? What are those things on his head and back?" "Ma'am, we have no explanation for you. It's some type of paranormal thing, I guess." Thank you, doctor. I'll talk to my son about this." She would then leave and go back to Izuku, who was sitting in the lobby waiting, as she would then pick him up and put him into the car, as he would happily say, "Mom, what quirk do I have?" To which she would look at Izuku with a glare, to which he would instantly jump back. "Mom, what's with that look? It scares me." Inko would, of course, just keep glaring at Izuku, saying, "Shut up, demon child. You're quirkless. The doctor didn't explain how you had those powers, so the only explanation is you're a demon. Now shut up." Izuku would stay quiet, just completely shocked and scared. His once happy-go-lucky mother turned to some type of disastrous, witch to him. Izuku would just go up to his room, just completely scared and wondering what happened to his mother, as Izuku would wait a couple hours as he would go downstairs and ask what was for dinner. Inko would just yell at him to go back up to his room, and that he has no place to even look at her, for she is an all-powerful human, while he's just a low-life demon. Izuku would just be confused by this, as he would just be sitting there wondering, what the hell's wrong with me? What have I done to deserve such things? Why? Izuku would just be thinking this as a couple years would go by. He is now at the age of 7, as Inko had turned she'd be happy around other people, but around Izuku, she absolutely hated him. Now at one point, something would go wrong. Izuku would walk down the stairs as he'd say, "Mom, what the hell did I say about you calling me that, brat?" Izuku would jump back and say, "Inko, what's for dinner?" Inko would throw a bowl at Izuku with a cracker inside, as if that's the only thing he's going to eat for dinner, as Izuku, immediately jumping back, would say, "But I can't eat this is just a cracker." Inko would immediately rush over to Izuku, about to hit him, as she would smack him across the face. Izuku would sit there as if he was soaking in his sadness, but then another emotion would just surface from the bottom of Izuku's heart and just rise up, completely taking over Izuku, as he would then look up at his mother with pure hatred in his eyes, as he would then put his fist back as a pure dark and red ball would just start sizzling in his hand, as he would shove it right into his mother's chest, as the ball would just absorb into her and just leave a massive hole right where Inko's chest was, as Izuku can smell the burning flesh coming off of his Inko, as Izuku would just look over as he just now realizing what he had done. What have I done? I killed my own mother. Now everyone's gonna think I'm a demon. I'll never become a hero. No, this can't be. Izuku's wings would then start to flutter as he would open up the balcony door to their house, as he would then start to fly off. With some of the nearby people seeing this, they would then call the police, who would bust down the locked door, as they would then see Inko's dead body sitting there, as the smell of flesh would become imminent, with them immediately covering their noses and like, "Oh, that stench! What the hell? Sir, call an ambulance! There's a body inside!" As they would then determine that this was a villain attack, and that some type of villain with wings attacked her. Now, Izuku was pretty much hidden from everybody. Now, Izuku was forced to strap down his wings and hide his horns somehow, don't ask me. So, nobody really knew what his quirk was. He'd always just say he is some random quirk and nothing else. Now, from there, Izuku would be suffering on the streets, with his wings and horns now fully out, not having the money to conceal them. He would just be sitting there, lonely, nothing to do. He's homeless. He killed his mother on accident in a pure fit of rage, as he would just be asking for money, to which the people around him would just scoff at the homeless-looking child, with them just walking past him, looking at the demon, just saying, "Why would I give my money to a demon? Makes no sense." Now, Izuku would just be wondering, why does this world have no good? He would stop heroes asking them for help, but they would just scoff at him and not do anything, knowing that it won't get them fame for helping some random child that everyone else is ignoring. Izuku would just be left there just wondering why. 5 years, 6 years would pass. Even another year, making it 7 years he was out on the street. He would end up getting a UA application slip that he found in a school. He would end up filling it out, but only 2 weeks later he would get called back into UA. Izuku, happy, would walk into UA only to be met with a peculiar thing said to him. But before I do say that to you all, let's get this quick ad break over with.
Are you interested in buying yourself some My Hero Academia merch? Some amazing hoodies, shirts with your favorite character on it? From Izuku Midoriya to Shoto Todoroki, Bakugo Katsuki, and Himiko Toga. Go click the link in my description box now and get some awesome discounts from 17% up to 48% off. They offer you free shipping as well. So, what are you waiting for? Link in the description.
Now that the ad is over, we can get back into this what if. Izuku would walk into Nezu's office, as Nezu would then look over at Aizawa and then back at Izuku. "I'm sorry, kid, but UA is no place for a demon around here." What? But you were famous for accepting anybody and making them into heroes. Sorry, kid, but that doesn't apply to a demon like you. Imagine how bad of a reputation we'd get for housing a demon here. All our budget would get cut off. You can't allow that, can I? Aizawa would try to butt in, saying Izuku is just a child and he clearly needs help. I mean, look at his clothes. But Nezu would stop Aizawa from talking, as he would then tell Izuku to leave the premises, as he's not welcome back there again. And if they see him back there ever again, they're going to call the police and get Izuku arrested. Izuku, now completely devastated, would just walk away. he would just walk down into the back streets and alleys of the town, just wondering, where did it all go wrong? Why was my life such a bad one? What did I do to deserve this? Izuku would just look down at his hands, shaking. The heroes never saved me. I wonder how many other children there are like me out there. I wonder how much. I guess it's my duty to save them then. But in order to do that, let's stop it with these childish dreams of becoming a hero. I mean, what was I thinking? Why would they accept a demon like me? I guess I can fully accept my demon now. As Izuku would then accept the demon accept the demon that he was, as he would instantly go into his true form. He would grow around 2 feet, making him around 6'6", as he would then also have more muscles and just be overall taller, look a lot scarier, as he would then just have a suit on for absolutely no reason but effect as well. Zuko would be walking down the street with his horns and wings out, with people just whispering around him, seeing how he looks like a villain. Even with them calling the police, as the police would arrive, with them looking at Izuku about to make an arrest, with Izuku just laughing. You're really going to arrest an innocent man? I know the police chief isn't that stupid. There's no reports about some type of person like me around here. Now you're thinking I'm a villain, huh? It's quite foolish and sad of you. Zuko would just continue walking, with the police just stunned by Izuku standing up for himself. I mean, that's never really happened when they were going for an arrest. Izuku would end up keep walking until he'd hear crying coming from an alleyway. He'd walk into this alleyway as he would see a person that looked around his age shriveled up into a corner crying, as Izuku could hear people a couple blocks down. I mean, he accepted his demon side, so his hearing is a lot better. He could hear people a couple blocks down looking for this girl that he sees down here, as Izuku would just bend down to this girl as he'd say, "What's the matter? What's the matter, child?" This girl would then look up at Izuku as if not scared, as she'd say, "People are looking for me. They keep testing me. It hurts." Izuku would just look down, saddened by the fact that this girl was being tested and experimented on, as he'd ask for her name. She would say that her name is Eri. By the way, she's aged up to be the same age as Izuku. Do not ask. Izuku would just reach his hand down to the girl as he would pick her up. From there, he would then use his wings to fly off, getting away from all of those people looking for her, as she would now be in the forest with Izuku. From there, he would then tell her that his name is Izuku and it's nice to meet you, Eri. Eri would then somewhat smile at Izuku, saying it's nice to meet you too, as Izuku would ask for her quirk. She would say that her quirk is rewind, as Izuku would see a horn atop of her head. As Izuku would just smile at Eri, saying, "So, we both have horns, huh? That's quite cool." Eri would nod happily, as Izuku would then place his hand on top of her head, as he'd ask her if she would like to join him to save other people like them. Eri would nod, as Izuku, with his demon powers, would then turn Eri into a demon. I mean, her rewind quirk she basically is somewhat of a demon before Izuku found her, because she has that horn, but Izuku now making her a full demon, just like himself. I mean, she's nowhere as powerful as Izuku, but she definitely is pretty powerful. Now, Izuku would then tell her one of the powers that them demons have, shape-shifting, and that they are going to infiltrate UA and take down the people that never accepted them. Eri would nod as Izuku would then shapeshift into somebody a tad bit smaller, just around 6 feet tall, with Eri shape-shifting. I mean, no one really knows who she is, so she would just shape-shift to get rid of her horns and wings that she just got, with Izuku doing the same, just making himself a little smaller, adding green hair instead of his black hair. I never really mentioned that, but he has black hair instead of green hair, but he'd add green hair, so he'd look exactly like Canon Izuku, just a bit taller. He would write his name down as Deku and her name down as Eri. He would then get permission slips that he saved from her and himself, as he would then turn into a mailbox and send them off to UA, to which he would then tell her that at this week and date they are going to go to UA and to try to make it into the exam. Here's the quirks that they will have, or what Izuku says that they're imaginary quirks that they will have. Demons have some pretty good abilities and powers, one of them being strength enhancement. I'll have a strength enhancer quirk, but now we need to find out what quirk you'll have. Eri would then mention that she still has her rewind quirk and she could just use that as her quirk. Izuku would smile down at Eri, or the shorter teen, as he would then say that's a great idea. Izuku would now walk into the city with Eri, having months passed with them training their demon abilities. From there, they would walk to the UA school building, as Izuku would smile, saying, "Today's the day, Eri. We're gonna make it in the UA." She would smile up at him, saying, "Yup," as they would both walk into UA, with them sitting down in an auditorium, as President Mike would start to explain the written exam and the practical exam for the people taking the hero portion of it. Izuku and Eri would both pass the written exam pretty well. However, Eri did struggle a bit, having not been studying forever because she was locked up with Overhaul, but she did learn a couple things becoming a demon because they also have some pretty good intelligence. Izuku, of course, would pass it pretty easily, always being quite smart, as it would then come to the practical portion of the exam. Izuku and Eri would both be standing there talking about plans, as a blue-haired kid would come up to Izuku and yell at him, saying, "Why are you distracting this girl? It's clear she's trying to focus." Izuku would just say, "She's my friend, and we're talking about strategies." This blue-haired kid would just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, continue then." Now, Izuku would look down to Eri, who looked saddened by something Izuku said, to which he said, "Wait, why are you so sad?" Eri would just look up to him, saying, "You called me your friend." Izuku would just burst into laughter, saying, "Oh wow, I never expected you to say something like that." To which she would blush heavily, as Izuku would just say, "Hey, the doors are opening," as he would then immediately rush out, leaving her and the rest of the examinees in the dust. Izuku would just easily destroy all the robots with his strength enhancement quirk, with Eri coming around and just dissolving the robots into scrap metal using her rewind quirk. It would then become apparent that the Zero Pointer had trapped somebody in rubble, this person being a brunette-haired girl, Ochako Uraraka. Izuku would see this, as he would jump up and smash the robot just like he did in Canon, saving the girl, as he would land down safely, as he would pick the rocks off of Uraraka, as he would then just say, "You were safe now." And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. The music, or the background music, if you liked it, comment section or description below. That's where you'll find the link. And if you like Roblox, go check out my Roblox channel. And I'd like to thank the editor and thumbnail artist for today's video, or for editing and making the thumbnail for today's video. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye!